In today's video, we're going to be talking about time. Me and the ducks will be talking about time and how to get into reality about what's really going on around time so that you can feel like you have enough time to do the things that you love, and that you have enough time to do the things that you need to do, and that you have enough time to create the space to welcome in all the new stuff that you're dying to welcome in. So the first thing I want you to get clear on is there are basically two ways that you go about this. The first way is the way that we've all been taught, where you have to learn to focus and schedule and get mighty real about the amount of time you have and how to use it wisely and all that stuff, which is great and is a very important part of the process, and I am going to be going over that as well. But the part that we're not really taught is about our mental construct around time, how we believe, our beliefs around time, and the way we speak about time and the way that we feel about time. This has just as much to do with it as everything else. So I'm going to be talking about that a lot, because once you understand that, like everything else in your world, if you believe that you have a lack of time, it's the same way that you believe that you have a lack of money or a lack of intimacy or whatever reality you're creating in your belief system is going to manifest in your physical world. So it's really exciting because it gives you the power to create whatever it is that you want to create around time. Have you ever noticed how, there can be two people and they have the same amount of time, the same amount of stuff going on, the same amount of money to delegate stuff out, yet one person always seems to be on top of it and rocking it and creating a very lovely, stress-free life, while the other person is constantly in overwhelm and freaking out all the time and just in panic mode? It's because one person, even if they're doing the same exact things, it's the mental construct part that one person believes that they have the time and that they can create it, whether they even realize it or not, and they're breathing into it and working with the magic and the energy of the time, and the other person has negative belief systems around the time that's available to them and what they can create. There definitely are times in life where we find ourselves in a particular season where our time is more limited than others. So I'm not saying that you're making up all this overwhelm and it's all impossible. It literally does take 9 months to make a baby. And if you're launching a new business, perhaps you are a little less available with your time. Or if you've just given birth to this baby that you just took 9 months to create, maybe you don't have as much time right then as you do in other times of your life. So that is real. I'm talking about like the other 90% of our time where we pretend that we don't have time and we get so caught up in being busy and freaking out and we don't realize that we're doing this to ourselves. That's what we're talking about in this video, and this is the part that I want to set you free around so that you can create the lusciousness around time that you deserve, because this is your life. It is a choice whether you're going to go through life constantly stressing out about not having enough time and feeling so busy and so overwhelmed, or if you're going to take the time to create the belief systems and breathe into the truth about time that is available to you. So it's really exciting to me. I always think it's so exciting when we can get into reality and remember what powerful, powerful creatures we are with everything in our lives. So time is just another one of those things that if you make a conscious effort and you take the time to get clear about time, you can set yourself free in so many ways around it. And you have taken the step to do this by even watching this video, so you're on the way. So the way I am going to go about this is you have a time management sheet that you have downloaded, and I'm going to go through this sheet with you first, and then I'm going to give you just some more general tips that are listed at the end of the sheet as well, to help you manage your personal belief system around time and help you get your scheduling going on and get yourself just really tightening up this time thing for you. Alrighty? So the first thing I want to talk about is the decision you got to make around getting your poop in a scoop with time. This is the first step, and it's the first step in transforming your life, no matter how it is that you choose to transform your life. You have to make the decision, because once you decide, then you have that ability to blast through all of the walls that come up that you've created through your belief systems, and you get it done anyway. So just like with money, if you don't have the money to do something but you need open heart surgery, suddenly you find the money because you have decided that you are not going to die and that you are going to have open heart surgery, and you somehow figure out how to receive this money that is there for you. Same thing with time. When you decide that you really are so sick of being overwhelmed and so sick of being exhausted and so sick of being a scatterbrain about it, when you really decide, all of the procrastination and the distractions and all that stuff, they're going to still come up for you, but you've made the decision, so you're going to get better at it. So I want you to get really clear about that and just take a moment to decide, especially if you've got a big story around time, to just make that decision that, okay, I'm doing this, I'm spending time on this, I'm getting rid of this one. This one is on the way out. One of the best ways to do this, to make this decision and to anchor it in and to feel passionate about it, is to connect to your why. And this is the first thing I have you write on the time management sheet. And we'll do it just around the 8-week goal, but you can do this with everything in your life. Okay, so why did you choose this 8-week goal? What inside of you, how does it feel when you think about it? Duck has a very strong feeling about it. What does it feel like when you think about accomplishing this goal? What is that passion? What is that love, falling in love with this goal feel like? So I want you to write that down and stay attached to it, because when overwhelm does start to sneak up, or when distraction does start to sneak up, if you can stay attached to this, like, I'm freaking accomplishing this goal and I'm so excited about it, that passion trumps everything else. So stay connected to the passion, and it will help you anchor in this decision you made and keep you moving forward when the stuff does start to come up. The next thing you're going to do on your time management worksheet is to get clear on your negative thoughts, beliefs, and words around time. Because just like we did on your BS worksheet, getting you aware of the mental construct that you have around time is going to be very revealing and very empowering, because you're going to see what kind of reality you keep perpetuating through these thoughts and words and beliefs. So, for example, pay attention to, are you one of those people who's always saying, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy? You're going to want to rewrite that story as, my life is full of things I love and enjoy doing. Just feel how that feels so much different than the busy thing, right? The busy thing causes stress and panic. And having a full life full of things that you enjoy doing makes it a joyful process. Or if you constantly say that you are, I'm the kind of person who stinks at focus. I'm so easily distracted. Even though you might think that's funny to say, oh, shiny thing, that creates your reality. So I'm all for, self-deprecating humor every once in a while. But if you keep telling yourself that, every single solitary shiny thing will indeed distract you, because the universe has no sense of humor. It takes everything literally, and it will help you create that kind of reality. So stop saying that and replace it with, I have an amazing ability to focus because I have decided to have an amazing ability to focus. Focus, honestly, is a decision, by the way. So just start paying attention, becoming the watcher, be aware of all of these things and write them down on your time management worksheet, and then rewrite the story. You should have had lots of practice with this already. Very, very powerful stuff. And then when this stuff comes up for you, just replace it with the new story that you've written. And really feel into this, okay? It's so important that you put some emotion around this, because otherwise it is just words. So when you're rewriting your stories, make sure that it resonates with you on a deep level and raises your frequency. Now that you've gotten clear on what your negative beliefs, thoughts, and words are around time, and you've rewritten them to have more productive stories around this stuff, I want you to use this to create what I like to call a time mantra of mightiness. And this is basically a one-liner that's going to knock you back into the reality that you do have time available to you, and that you are an incredibly powerful creature that is capable of creating whatever reality it is that you desire. So for me right now, my time mantra of mightiness is, get her done. And the reason I love this is because I have so many things in my life that I want to do. I've got lots of projects that I'm working on, and I also like to take a lot of time off. And so for me, when I just get into the mode of like, get her done, it reminds me that if I really focus on what my next task is, then it'll be done, which means I can then work on the next one, which I'm excited to work on, and get that done, and then I can have some time off. So it basically speaks to freedom. That's what get her done means to me, is it provides me with freedom, and freedom makes me really happy. So that raises my frequency, and it then puts me at the frequency to create the kind of time that I need to get everything that I want in my world done. So it's got to be super emotional for you. Whatever mantra you decide to work with, it's got to bring up something in you that really has meaning and causes you to feel it in your bones. So take a look at whatever it is that you've rewritten for the positive stories that you're now rewriting around time, and see if you can come up with something that encapsulates the feeling that you want to have about time, and just make that your mantra and make that your reality. The next thing I want you to do is to get clear on what time of day is your sweet spot. We all go, I've found actually throughout my life this time changes, but when you get really clear, if you're a morning person or if you're a middle of the night person, if you take the time to really notice when you're freshest and your sharpest, if you can, design your life around that time so that you're doing most of your important work when you've got that advantage. It's something that people don't really think about, but it can save you a lot of time to design your life that way. The next thing I want you to do is to get really clear on what your strengths are. This is so key, especially because we tend to take it so for granted and tend to underestimate what our strengths really are. So take some time coming up with it yourself, and ask your friends, ask people who know you really well, and just make a list of all the things that you really excel at, So for me, I'm really good with people. I'm a good writer. I'm good with math. I like delegating things. I like organizing things. Just get clear on very brass tacks on what your strengths are and what brings you the most joy in your business and in your personal life. And then I want you to get clear on what your weaknesses are, and get clear on the things that you really do not enjoy doing. And so once you make these lists, then you can start to help yourself by either, if possible, not doing the things that suck in your life, because who wants to go through life that way? And if they are things that suck, that are not your strong points, then make it a point to delegate them out. If there are things that have to happen in your life that just suck your energy, it's just something you hate, even if it's just cleaning your house, if that's always been something that you hate doing, make a point to get help with that. Again, you are a very powerful creature who creates your reality. So even if you don't have the money right now to hire a house cleaner, if you decide that you make the hell-bent decision that is something that you are going to create for yourself, you absolutely can do it. One of the most important things you can learn how to do is to learn how to delegate. And this goes much deeper than just the fear of paying somebody money to do something that you can do yourself, because it taps into control freak issues where you want to keep control and have everything done exactly the way you would do it. It taps into our fear that if we do delegate, we actually will start to grow and be seen. It taps into our fear of failure, that if we do grow and be seen, then we're going to fail and look stupid. So even though it usually manifests itself in the fear of not wanting to spend the money, it does go much, much deeper. And when you realize what you're really doing around retaining all the control and demanding of yourself that you do everything yourself, you will realize that it's about a lot more than the money. The money is always a very convenient place to start with, that you can't afford it, and maybe you don't have it in your budget right now. But I'm telling you, if I put a gun to your head and told you that you had to start delegating out 30% of your work and that you had to figure out how to make the money to do that, you could do it. So I want you to get mighty real about what it's going to feel like to delegate out, especially the tasks that you've listed on this to-do list that you're not good at and that you don't enjoy doing. If you can get into the emotion and understand how great that is going to feel when you do start delegating that out, again, we come from emotion. It's not all about up here all the time. It's really about the emotion. Like when you get so emotionally invested to, oh my gosh, my life is going to be so free when I no longer have to do the dishes myself or the grocery shopping or answer my own emails. When you can really connect to that and understand how much more freedom that is going to give you and how much more that's going to allow you to expand, that's when you will create whatever it is that you need to create in order to delegate stuff out and step into the bigger version of yourself that you want. Because I'm telling you right now, if you do want to grow in your business and your personal life, you will need help. And so getting clear on what your negative false beliefs are around delegating beyond the money story is going to help you leaps and bounds get there. So I definitely want you to spend some time on this, because delegating is one of the top 2 things you need to do in your life to create more time. The next thing I want you to become aware of is get really clear on your favorite ways to waste time. You know, if you don't know the enemy, it's very hard to protect yourself against them. So what are your biggies? You know, for me, it's screwing around on the internet. It's getting up and standing in front of the refrigerator and just staring in there. It's checking email and getting taken off in that big email quagmire. So make a long list and get mighty real with yourself about the things that you love to do to procrastinate and waste time. And then, now that you are aware, you can come up with ways to support yourself so that you make it harder to do those things. So something I do when I'm in the middle of a big writing project is I go somewhere where there is no internet. So I literally cannot screw around on it. And I delegated out all of my emails. I don't even answer my own emails anymore because that was such a point of distraction for me. I have somebody else doing it. So figure out where you're tripping yourself up and make the concerted effort to solve the problem. Because again, you are in power. You do have the power. So become aware and then make the choice to change. Another really important thing to do is to take breaks and to celebrate the time that you have spent doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because I know certainly in our culture and in a lot of other cultures, it is just about how much you're getting done and getting it all done and working hard. And, we reward all that really sort of nose to the grindstone behavior. And not only is that fun free, but it doesn't serve you in getting as much done as you want to get done, because if you're exhausted and just stressed out all the time, you're not going to perform as well as you normally would. So taking time off actually helps you get more done. So and this can be, this is going on vacation, which I'm a huge believer in, that you have got to go on vacation and get out of your normal realm of reality so that you can expand your mindset. But also just during the day, taking 5 minutes between tasks and just going outside and looking at the sky or calling a good friend or just pulling yourself out of it. Super duper important, and is actually something that most successful people talk about as one of the most important parts of their days, is the time that they take off and give themselves some breathing room and some brain space and some joy. Not that the work isn't joyful, but just changing it up a little bit and creating the room for new thoughts, ideas, and just energy to come in. The last thing I have you do on your time management sheet is to write out a short day in the life as it relates to you as a time management superhero. So do this in the present tense. I've given you an example on the sheet of how I wrote mine, and just make sure that whatever you write fills you with lots of emotion and excitement, because you understand that you really truly are able to create the kind of world that you want to live in. Okay, so that's everything that is on the time management sheet. I'm now going to go over just a couple other things that are really, really helpful in getting you into the space, into the mindset space, and into the scheduling space with time, so that you can knock it out of the park and get everything you want to get done. My personal favorite tip in the whole wide world is the chunking down of time. I've talked about this before, but taking your whole day and chunking it down into bite-sized chunks. So instead of saying that you're going to work for 6 hours today, if you say I'm going to work for 30 minutes, and then you sit your ass down and you work for 30 minutes, focused only on what you're doing. You're unauthorized to get up and go to the bathroom, to get something to eat, to answer an email. I don't care what comes up. You are focused on that task for 30 minutes. Then you can get up and take a break and go do whatever it is that you want to do, take a walk around the block, and then you come back for your next 30-minute chunk. What this does is it takes our brain out of panic mode, and we can focus on anything for 30 minutes or figure out what your sweet spot is in that time. It can be 15, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. But it just puts you in the mindset that, okay, I'm just going to focus for this long, I'm just going to really knock it out of the park. And then you'll find that you get so much more done in 30 minutes of focus than you would in 3 hours. They say that, in the 8-hour workday, most people actually work for about 4 hours of that 8 hours, like genuinely get work done. The rest is done just, screwing around and being distracted and all that. So to maximize your time, the best thing you can do is to chunk it out. Another really important thing to do is to get into reality about how you work best. I know personally I'm one of those people who's great at working my ass off for 3 days in a row and then taking 2 days off where I just get to go off the grid and do whatever I want. Some people are much more ready, steady. They like to work for 3 hours every single morning at the same time, and that's where they're in their most powerful. Some people like to save things for the last minute, and that gives them the focus they need. Some people like to get things done at the very beginning and then screw around at the last minute. There's no right or wrong way. There is only your way. So once you get mighty clear about what your way is, then you can fill out this timesheet, you can fill out your weekly goal sheet, fill out everything so that it really applies to you and how you work best. Another quickie tip I have for you is to make sure that you've got some way to capture ideas when they come to you during these focused chunks of time. Because if you're anything like me, you come up with ideas at the most inconvenient moment, and they're great ideas, and a lot of it is very important stuff that needs to get done. And so then I'm trying to be in my focused chunk of time, but I'm thinking like, holy crap, I can't forget to do that. What if I forget to do that? And that's when I go off down the bunny trail of distraction and going away from the thing I'm focusing on. So now I have a smartphone where I record these ideas as they come in, or I keep a pen and a notepad and I write them down as they come in. So it's just a momentary, moment away from what I'm focusing on, and then I can get right back to what I'm focusing on, because this is important stuff. I not only don't want to forget to do it, but I don't want to get distracted and go do it while I'm focused on something else. So just set yourself up for success that way, and make sure that you've got something that you can capture the ideas that will most probably come to you while you're focused on something else. And the last thing I want you to do is to take your relationship with time seriously. To remember that it is a relationship like anything else, like your relationship with money, like your relationship with intimacy, like your relationship with human beings. All of these relationships require nurturing, and the more you nurture it, the better it's going to be. And this specifically comes in the form of, are you one of those people who's always late? Are you one of those people who wastes other people's time and your time? That sends out a really negative message to the universe about how you feel about time, and so you don't have a good relationship with it. I know this sounds super weird and airy-fairy, but take it seriously. Decide that you're going to become best buddies with time, and you're going to treat it like somebody that you really love and respect. So if you are somebody who's late, I want you to get very dedicated to either being on time or early. In fact, let's just say you're one of those people that's going to have to start being early. Just start being early for these 8 weeks. I want you to just make this a conscious effort where you are now somebody who is early, because your mental construct around time, as we have shown, is very important. And when you waste it, and when you don't respect your times and other people's time, it just sets it off on a very shaky and icky, low energy, low frequency level. So raise the frequency around it, make a conscious effort to have a really loving and respectful relationship time, and it will have the same kind of relationship with you. Okay, so that is it for this week's time management work. Have fun with this, and really truly remember that you are the creator of your reality. You literally have all the time in the world available to you. Breathe into it, respect it, become aware of where you're holding yourself back, and remember that you are in control, and you can rewrite these stories into anything you want and start creating the kind of life you truly can't believe you get to live. I'm gonna go chase some ducks now.